Having dealt with the properties of dilute and concentrated sulfuric acid, here we'll study about sulfur dioxide. Okay, so sulfur dioxide gas is an oxidizing as well as a reducing agent. This is in gaseous form, and it behaves as both as oxidizing agent as well as reducing agent. And this sulfur dioxide has a temporary bleaching action. So bleaching means we are changing some colored product into colorless product, so that is bleaching. So what happens whenever colored material is taken, this nascent hydrogen will react with the colored material and will render that colored material as colorless. So this nascent hydrogen which we are getting from sulfur dioxide, this nascent hydrogen is used in bleaching. Then whenever this colorless product is exposed to air, what we are getting is colored material back. Therefore I am telling that this has a temporary action, because we are getting the colored product back when exposed to air. It is not a strong bleaching agent like chlorine. This we had studied in earlier classes. In 9th class we had studied that chlorine water is a strong bleaching agent, but this is not a strong bleaching agent, and it is used to bleach only the delicate materials. Clear? The strong or hard materials are not used to bleach through the sulfur dioxide. What we are using is delicate materials like our clothes and soap. Then the first property which we had studied was it behaves as a, here you can see, it behaves as a non-volatile acid, property of concentrated sulfuric acid. The first was it is a non-volatile acid. The second was it behaves as an oxidizing agent, and here is the third one, it behaves as a dehydrating agent. Name a acid which behaves as a drying as well as a dehydrating agent. This is the one word question being asked in exams. So its answer will be concentrated sulfuric acid. If you write dilute sulfuric acid, it will be wrong. You have to write concentrated sulfuric acid. So this sulfuric acid, why it behaves as a dehydrating agent? Because it has a great affinity for water. The reason, okay, it has a great affinity or affection for water, so it will remove the water molecule readily, and therefore it will act as a dehydrating agent. So there are certain things we need to go through. So for that I'll explain you. Like what we can do is, you have to remember that composition of water, how it removes. Like here, in case of organic acids and organic compounds. So if I am taking HCOOH, clear? This HCOOH, whenever I am adding concentrated H2SO4 to it, what this will do? This will remove the water molecule. So for one water molecule, what do we need? We need 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. So 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen is being removed. What is left is CO. So we'll write it this way. Then suppose I am taking another molecule CH3OH. This is methanol, and again I am using concentrated H2SO4. So this concentrated H2SO4 will remove one more water, like it will remove one water molecule. So this is H, this is O, and one more H will be removed here. So if one more H is being removed here, what we are left is CH2. So here here I think I have a doubt, like H2O CH2 will be remaining, no? Okay, so for that what we can take is, we can take here 2 molecules of methanol. So what it will do, CH2 will get 2 molecules. So 2 CH2, 2 molecules of CH2 will combine to give C2H4, and what we'll get is side products water. So this way you can remember, if organic compounds are given, you basically have to remove the water molecule from it, and the temperature conditions are given as well here. Then this was when we are taking organic acids and organic compounds, and when we are taking carbohydrates like glucose, sugar, cellulose, and so I am taking the example of glucose. It is C6H12O6. So here you can see how many water molecules can be removed from here. For one water molecule we need one oxygen. There are 6 oxygen, so we can remove 6 water molecules from here. 6 to 12 hydrogen and 6 into 1 6 oxygen. What is remaining is carbon, and for balancing we'll put a 6 here. So this is charred carbon. This is what is remained after we have used concentrated sulfuric acid as a dehydrating agent over glucose. So this is with glucose I had shown you. Then here with cane sugar it is given. Then if we are doing it with cane sugar, what we are obtaining, this carbon, charred carbon or black carbon, this is known as sugar charcoal. Furthermore, like in nitric acid I told, if nitric acid falls on our skin turns yellowish because of the formation of xanthoprotic acid. This is very important and it is being asked in exams. Nitric acid, if it falls on skin, the skin turns yellow and it forms xanthoprotic acid. But when concentrated sulfuric acid falls on our skin, we'll get a huge amount of blisters in the place where it has fallen down, and also the skin will turn black. So in this, as a dehydrating agent property, first we have applied to organic acids and compounds. Second, we have applied its dehydrating property to carbohydrates. Then here we are applying its dehydrating property to the compounds having water of crystallization. Like here, blue vitriol. This blue vitriol is, its formula as pentahydrate copper sulfate, HuSO4.5H2. When we are adding H2SO4 to it, what this H2SO4 will do, it will remove its water molecule and keep it separate. So this is 5 molecules of water which are removed, and this is copper sulfate. This is a test for sulfuric acid. Whenever you want to know whether an acid is sulfuric acid or other acid, if you will add that acid to copper sulfate, and if this blue vitriol will change its color from blue to white color, it will surely be sulfuric acid. Then preparation of insoluble sulfates. This is also a test for sulfuric acid. So whenever sulfuric acid is added to lead nitrate and barium chloride, we are getting insoluble precipitates of lead sulfate and barium sulfate, and apart from it we are getting one acid. So sulfuric acid forms insoluble precipitates with, or gives insoluble precipitates with lead and barium salts. So this is lead sulfate and this is barium sulfate. These two are white in color, and this is also a test for sulfuric acid. So here some differences are there. Dilute and concentrated acid. Dilute acid is a strong acid while concentrated acid is a weak acid. Dilute is a strong electrolyte. Because it is a strong acid, it can behave as strong electrolyte. Because it is a weak acid, it can behave as weak electrolyte. Then dilute is not behaving as oxidizing agent while concentrated acid is behaving as oxidizing agent. Dilute sulfuric acid is not a dehydrating or drying agent, while concentrated sulfuric acid behaves as a dehydrating and drying agent as well. Then here some uses are given. Uses of sulfuric acid, you just go through it. The last topic here in this chapter is tests for sulfuric acid. 2 of the tests I have told you earlier also. One was this of the precipitates I told you. A white precipitate of barium sulfate is obtained whenever the sulfuric acid is combined with barium salts. This white precipitate is insoluble in any other acids, and this PPT itself is a test. Then one more test here, it is given that whenever we are taking sulfuric acid, we have to detect whether any, like in a test tube Y, you are given an acid and you are asked to recognize whether it is sulfuric acid or what. What you can do is, you can take this acid and combine it with copper, and if there are some gas or some gas is released, sulfur dioxide gas is released, and to that gas, or you are adding this sulfur dioxide gas to potassium dichromate solution, this potassium dichromate solution should be acidified. if you are adding this sulfur dioxide gas or the so produced gas to acidified potassium dichromate solution, this acidified potassium dichromate solution will change into green color. It's originally in orange color, but because of the presence of the sulfur dioxide which is produced because of this acid, it will turn into green color. This is very important test and this is being generally asked in exams, so you need to be thorough with it. Furthermore, if we want to recognize whether any acid is H2SO4 acid or not, what we can do is we can take sodium chloride salt and to it we can add the given acid. If we are getting a gas and like this is HCl gas, and if we are bringing a glass rod dipped in ammonium hydroxide solution to near to that gas, and if we are obtaining white fumes, dense white fumes, then that acid must have been sulfuric acid. अगर ये सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड नहीं होता तो HCl प्रोड्यूस नहीं होता, अगर ये HCl नहीं होता तो ये डेंस वाइट फ्यूम्स भी प्रोड्यूस नहीं होती. सो हियर इनडायरेक्ट वे में हम टेस्ट को प्रूव कर रहे हैं, देयर इज़ नो डायरेक्ट वे हियर. So done with this chapter of sulfuric acid. Thank you.